Welcome to Ghostrunner.
Can you hear me?
Set in a cyberpunk post-apocalyptic world, you are a Ghostrunner, cybernetic peacekeeper. You wake up with your memory gone to find that a voice is speaking to you inside your head, who calls himself the
You can
Architect.
call me Architect.
Not knowing if he is friend or foe, you agree to help him while trying to stay alive.
You're a ghost.
The Architect asks you to help him seize control of the Dormer Tower and eliminate his rival Mara. For your trouble, he will guide you and help you build your arsenal of deadly abilities over the course of the game. While I found the Cyber Void was actually a good change of pace to break up the chaotic flow of the game, but I personally found it a little bit frustrating at times. I kind of suck at puzzles, so it's probably the main reason why I wasn't having that much fun with that part. There was a specific part which was a rotating cube platform section, which was actually getting on my nerves quite a bit. It was nice to do something different though.
She stood against me.
It was you I was trying to.
The main characters in the game were good, but I wish you could meet the characters through the course of the game. Especially with Mara, she felt like more of a background villain without any confrontation until the very end. Would have been great to see if she came face to face with us temporarily, or show us her vision for mankind and what she was trying to accomplish face to face, even if brutal and intense. They do show you what she was planning for the people, but it didn't impact as well as it could have for me. This goes the same with the human resistance to climbers. The game wants you to sympathise with them, but without any face-to-face interaction, it's kind of a little bit difficult to get immersed into their pleas. Had no issues with the frame rate dipping at all. The review was done on my PC. I tried to start the game using an Xbox controller, but I quickly found that it was way easier for me to use the keyboard and mouse for more precision. Very good. Lighting and character mods are superb. There are about 4 different major locations, ranging from an underground industrial complex to a beautiful neon city with constant rain falling, to a bloody hospital experimental centre. At first I thought the game would not have much variety in locations, but it did a great job of separating the looks of each zone. Just takes a while before you actually move on to something different. The AI is not very smart. They have very specific movements which you get used to very quickly. What makes them dangerous is the combination of different types put together in every encounter. One-on-one they're very simple to beat. They're still very fun to fight though. This is not an easy game, that's for sure. The game is a fast-paced, reaction-heavy ninja game. I honestly haven't played anything like this in a very long time. The only thing that comes close to speed and feel of the game is Doom Eternal. Always constantly being on the move, everything is always a one-hit kill, including yourself. The good news is that the game doesn't punish you heavily when you die. Constant spawn points after almost every fail encounter. It's an instant respawn and back into the action. There are only 2 spots in the game which actually made me a bit triggered with frustration. Be prepared for constant jumping platforms and lassoing to anchor points. Just be prepared to die a lot, and I mean a lot. I never felt like anything was impossible, just more of a rhythm I had to learn to pass the encounters.
Anybody?
This is Ghostrunner.
I was actually kind of blown away by the sound quality of this game. It actually made me want to keep progressing through the story, even after I kept dying non-stop. The voice acting is just honestly superb. There's actually only a couple of characters actually in the game who actually speak a lot, but all those characters actually were top notch with voice acting. I had no complaints whatsoever with them. None of them ever felt cringy, phoned in or anything like that at all. All the enemies you do face though, they only have a couple of voice lines themselves, which is probably the weak point of the sound quality. It's not a huge issue, but they just repeat a lot of stuff they say non-stop, but it's something I just took notice of anyway. Over the course of the game, you'll get upgrades and a skill tree to power you further. The skill tree is different than most, where it looks more like Tetris, where you actually have to place different skill blocks into the board. Only a certain few will fit. But the good news is that the spots you haven't filled, you can gain more focus regeneration, where your abilities come back faster. I found this fairly adequate. Nothing amazing, but not flawed in any way. I would recommend a skill block which gives you 2 charges to your focus dash. It really is a must-have, honestly. You gain 4 major powers over the course of the game. You can build up the gauge after each kill. Though the first ability you receive, I didn't really find many spots where I found this ability actually be quite useful. But the other 3 definitely had a lot of use in all situations. Movement is one of the best parts of this game. You can slide, wall run, lasso onto anchor points and slow down time to dodge bullets, or to even use this as an advantage to make platforming easier. I feel like there was something still kind of just missing in the skill tree part. I think to add actually some extra depth to it, it would have been great if we could like augment the skill blocks a bit more. So if we did a really good run, we could actually attach it to one of the skill blocks to make it extra powerful, or even combine an extra skill block would have been pretty cool. But I'm actually just kind of nitpicking. It still is a decent system. It could just be a little bit more fleshed out though. So how fun is this game? With the fast-paced movement, excellent dodge mechanics and lassoing, the flow of the game is really smooth. The different enemies actually make you adapt constantly to the terrain and platforming, strategizing on how you're going to get through that encounter. I had a great time playing this game, and I kept wanting to go back to my PC after closing down the game each night. I did find the game doesn't hold your hand in different spots of the game, and you have to just figure out the puzzles or approach an attack yourself. There are many spots where I had to improvise on how to get around certain sections easier. I actually enjoyed the boss battles. They didn't feel like a typical boss in most games. It actually felt more like a dance sequence than anything. I could find some people finding them fairly frustrating. They do require a fair amount of good precision. Luckily though, they do have a fair few checkpoints in the actual boss battle itself. But overall, the game is absolutely a blast to play.
74 located. Kill switch component not found. Mission to engage.
Granted.
Hopefully we get more challenging games like this one here. It is good to test yourselves. It's the only way we're ever going to be able to improve. I wouldn't be scared of the difficulty of the game.
These systems were placed in...
Ghostrunner has actually been a breath of fresh air for me in terms of a skill-based platformer. I have no doubts recommending this game to anyone. The quality of the graphics, gameplay, music and voice acting is unreal. It's great. I've just had such a fun time with this game. You can tell they've put a lot of passion into this title. It's just a ton of fun with all the pumping music as you slide around, wall run, wall jump, while constantly dodging bullets. The price for the shorter title seems fair to consumers also. The game retails for around about $44 Australian, $29 US, and about $40 Canadian. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and I'd be happy to help in any way.